You want to be a travel agent in 2026. Today we're going to dive into the top 7 things you really need to understand before you decide to jump into being a travel agent in 2026. That sounds like stuff you need to know. Keep on watching. That's what we're doing on the show today. All right, guys. Now listen, I know being a travel agent sounds fun, exciting, sexy, and it is. But getting from point A to point Z and running a successful business in the travel space is not as easy as it looks. So we're going to break down the top 7 things that you need to know. And by the way, if you're new here, type a little "I'm new" in comments. My name is Cyndi Williams. If you are new, I'm a veteran in the travel industry. I'm the CEO and founder of Wanderlust Campus. Everything that we train you here on the channel is in the spirit of helping you grow and thrive in your travel businesses. I've been in the industry for over 30 years, so I've seen all the ups, all the downs, all the things. We were named an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company in the travel space in 2024, so we know exactly what it takes to thrive and to grow in this industry. And I'm going to be breaking down all the goodies for you today. Everything you're going to learn about today, resource-wise, you can find over at travelschool.com on our main site if you want more information. And also, all of you guys are eligible for a complimentary Wanderlust Campus account. You can get that at wanderlust-ceo.com. Sign up for free and gather any of our complimentary resources as well. But let's jump right in. I'm going to go through the 7 things you really need to think about and answer for yourself before jumping into the travel industry, because the reality is it's really not for everyone. So you really want to be clear on what your goals are. Is this in alignment with what your goals are before you put the effort, time, money, and resources into jumping into this new career? Now, it's a fantastic career if you have the passion for it. And I'm really going to talk about number 1 being just that. Are you passionate about travel? I ask this question out of the gate because we do hundreds of calls every single week in our enrollments department, and we'll ask people like, oh, why are you thinking about starting a travel business? And where you are in your life journey? Why is this coming up on your radar now? And sometimes we hear things like, I love to travel. I'm starting a new season. I'm like, I've always wanted to do it, right? Those are kind of the right reasons to get into the business. But then sometimes we hear, I'm just looking to add another revenue stream to the 6 other things I have going on. So while you can have additional revenue streams within your travel business, and we talk about that in our programs and things like that too, but if you have like 8 million things going on and this is just one, like a collection of businesses that you want to add, sometimes it's not the right reason. So what I really like you to ask yourself is, am I really passionate? Do I want to eat, breathe, and sleep travel? Do I want to live in that world? Does it excite me when I wake up in the morning? Are you excited to think about booking trips for other people, thinking about traveling yourself? If that is in your heart of hearts, like, yes, I love travel, obsessed with travel, would love to help families, connect them with travel and help in that whole process. You're a natural planner. You think about trips when it's your off time, like it's a hobby of yours to be on travel sites. Those are signs that, yes, you are in the right place to move forward to the next step, which we'll get to here in a second. But ask yourself, am I really passionate? What's driving me? And in this same conversation with yourself, you always want to ask, what's my why for wanting to do this? If it is, I want to start a college fund for one of my kids, or I want to earn an extra $1,000 or $5,000 or whatever per month, think about what does that mean? What does an extra $1,000 for you mean? What does an extra $5,000 for you mean? Are you planning on quitting your other job? Do you want to do this as a successful hobby? There's no wrong answers there, but understanding what the answers are for yourself helps kind of anchor you in this decision-making process. If you're watching this video, you're probably just thinking about getting into the industry. You're doing your research. You're going through these vetting processes. That's a good thing. Slow down. I see so many people that get super excited and they sign up for the wrong thing, and then it's a disaster to either back them out of it, or they get signed up with the wrong thing and it's not what they thought it would be. So you just want to hit the pause button and you want to go through this learning process and answer these questions for yourself. And the reason for that is I want you to pick your startup based on your goals, not anyone else's goals, not my goals for you, not another person's goals for you, not an agency's goals for you, not a consortium's goals for you. No, what's your goals? So get clear on that step first. If you're passionate, you know what your why are, that is a good place to start. Now, the second thing that you really want to think about is, are you really prepared to run a business? Specifically, are you really prepared to run an online business in the travel industry space? So there's some really key things that you need to make sure that you understand. And listen, if you don't have the answers to all of these yet, these can be learned, so take a deep breath, but this is the kind of stuff you need to be able to be ready to jump into. You may be coming to having already had another business or having some success in another business type, but understand every industry is a little bit different. So what tracks and trends from industry to industry can change and can be a little different. But here are the things that you really need to understand, or you will need to learn to be successful in this space. You need to understand how our industry works, right? How commissions are paid, how money flows in and out of your business, how you get clients, how you sell clients, how you close clients, all the operational things, right? So you have to understand the industry. You also need to understand commission and suppliers. So I could go this session today, this video could be 8 hours long if I went into all of these things in a deep dive, but just high level overview, you need to understand how commissions work, how we as travel professionals work with travel suppliers, how we are paid and how those processes work, how you get your commission tracked up and get higher commission over time. Those are important things to understand. You also need to understand how to market. Being a travel agent in 2026 is very different than being a travel agent in 1993 when I started. When I started in the industry, you worked for a mom and pop agency or you worked for a big call center, and calls were fed into your line from day one. You were taught how to use what's called a GDS, a global distribution system. You book the travel and you go on to your next call and do that. You are not going to have calls fed to you. You have to go out and get those clients yourself. Even if you are working under the umbrella of an agency, that is 1990 model is gone in the travel industry, unless you're working for something like AAA where you're making a little piddly hourly wage. Today's environment, most travel professionals are home-based professionals. Some of them are working under an agency model, but you are working as a contractor. You still have to go get your own clients. So understanding what marketing is actually working in this online space within our industry is very important. You also need to know how to sell. Now, I love sales. I feel like sales is one of those things where it does not have to be yucky or gross. Sales is simply solving someone's problem. But understanding and having a real sales system in your business, from how do you attract those initial clients, how do you build that relationship with them, taking them through the proposal process, and actually getting to the bottom line of closing the sale, you need a process for that in your day-to-day operations as well. Also understanding the online business systems available to you to support you as a travel professional. There are different tech stacks that you can do, and there's not one solution is right for everyone. So understanding how you prefer to work and also what your needs will be for your own home-based kind of travel agency as you get started up here. There are different options out there, but just know you're going to have to learn this stuff and what's going to be right for you. You also need to know what's the proper protocols and best practices for client care. What if someone gets stuck in an airport halfway around the world? What if something cancels? What if there's civil unrest? What if there's a crisis situation? Understanding how to navigate and handle those situations is very important. Booking travel for yourself is completely different than booking travel for other people who may have different needs, different things that are requirements as far as when they're traveling. There may be accessibility needs with one or more of their family members, a whole array of things that you need to learn to start to book travel for others. That's really important. Again, these are all solvable problems, but I'm really giving you a real world picture of the things that you need to learn to really be successful and get some good traction in the industry. Also learning how to automate your business so you can scale faster. And last but certainly not least, you need to understand your KPIs, your key performance indicators. These are the numbers that measure how successful your business is. So these are things that I'm not going to again go into a super deep dive, but just know you got to know your numbers if you're going to be a successful business owner. So overview, big picture, are you prepared to run a business? So really answer, and a lot of times people are going to be excited about getting in the industry and you're going to say no to some of those things. It doesn't mean you don't want to become a travel professional or a travel agent. It just means you have some problems to solve first. You have some learning to do first. So these are things, again, that are solvable problems. But if you're prepared and you have the willingness to learn those things, then continue on. And we will talk about what else is important. So next up, one of the places you can learn about all of those things that we just talked about is making sure you have a certification. So within our industry, there are a couple certification tracks. The gold standard of certification is run by Wanderlust Campus, so this is a shameless plug. However, we are the only certification that gives you the skills practice. It is a business learning program, and you're coming to live classes and doing all the things. Certification used to be more of a, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it kind of thing. And it's turned into more of certification being really your credibility card in the industry. This is how you tell an agent who takes their profession seriously and really is coming with skills. They know what they're doing. They're growing their business in a faster way, having those certifications. So one of the things that you can understand about the industry, regardless of if you're going to get a certification or not, if you don't get a certification, you're going to have to learn all of those things on your own. And with Wanderlust Campus, we cover all of those things. Most of the other certifications do not give you any skills practice and business and online and live interaction. A lot of the other ones, all of the other ones are e-programs, okay? But in our environment, we are teaching you those tangible life skills. If you don't want to go the route of certification, no hard feelings if you don't, but you're going to have to learn those things all by yourself. So if you don't have 5 years to go through trial and error and you don't want to throw thousands of dollars at making mistakes to figure all of those things out, consider a certification up front so you can learn those things, put them into action, and continue to grow and thrive with your business. Now, one of the things to also understand, certification or not, is travel changes daily. Marketing algorithms, they change daily, right? Information can be overwhelming when you're already learning how to run a new business, you're learning a new industry and deciding what niches to do. Being in the travel industry is committing to lifetime learning. And in our industry, the other thing that can be confusing about learning is there are 8,000 free webinars out there or free supplier presentations that are PowerPoint deck after PowerPoint deck after PowerPoint deck with no clear direction of here's the actual roadmap you need to set up your business or to sell the thing. So yes, there's a ton of complimentary learning. In fact, you can access all of the complimentary learning. We work with a ton cooperatively educators all through the travel industry. At Wanderlust Campus, you can get access to our free global calendar and check some of that complimentary stuff out anytime you want. So feel free to do that as well. However, keep in mind, certification is what's going to tie all the dots together in terms of where do I start? What do I do next? How do I set up my business? How do I actually do these things and put them into action so I can start collecting commission checks, like the pile of checks I have to reconcile over here on my desk today. It's always good when you're getting those commission checks and it feels really good. All right, next up. Now, if you are not scared yet, and listen, I'm not trying to scare you. I am here to give you a real world picture of what this industry looks like, how you can be successful in it, because what we do at campus is our lane and our specialty, especially for our new agent certification and our experienced agent certification, is if our students are not at $1 million in sales or they're just starting up, our Careers on Vacation certification, the goal is to get them on track to that first $1 million in sales. That's what our goal is. Now, here's the beauty though. If you are thinking about, oh, I just want to kind of start as a hobby, or I have another job. Most people start with another job. I know you can't quit your job tomorrow and just say, I'm going to be a travel agent and expect it to be successful 30 or 60 days later. I don't want you to do that. But what a lot of people will do is get the right resources, get the certification, get all of the things, and then start to build your book of business so you eventually can tell your other job to kick rocks, right? So we're going to have a really successful, powerful hobby. That's what we want to do, a profitable, powerful hobby that starts to make $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $6,000 a month. I mean, sky's the limit depending on what your niches are, how committed you are to your travel business, and how much work you're putting in. But whatever you're making at the job you don't want to do anymore, you start to build your book of business up into a place where you know you can tell your other job to kick rocks and you can do this full time. Some of you don't want to quit your other job. Maybe you just want to make an extra couple $1,000s a month and have a successful travel business on the side and have your main job. That's okay too. There's no wrong answers there. It really is just however you want to do it. But I want you to take the pressure off and know that you don't have to like quit what you're doing and then jump into this thing. No, in fact, I recommend it's good to have a backup income coming in and have those other resources as you're building your book of business. So there's that sweet spot of kind of building a profitable hobby and then transitioning it into full-time if full-time is your ultimate goal. And if we followed step 1, you'll already know what your personal goals are as well. All right, next one, step 5, and this one should just take the pressure off your shoulders. You might be thinking, Cyndi, I didn't start 30 years ago. I don't want to sell the whole world. I have no interest in selling this particular area or that particular area. If you're not a Disney person, you're like, I don't want to sell Disney. Maybe you are Disney and you're like, I don't want to sell all-inclusives. Here's the good news. You actually will have more success if you niche down at the beginning of your career. So shrink the world down to the things that you are most passionate about. If you're in our certification, we'll also help you map out like how you can do your cash flow so you have revenue coming in all year long. But you want to think about what niches am I most passionate about and start with no more than 3 or 4 areas that you are selling. That way you become a mastery of skills in these areas. You become the expert, the person to go to in these particular areas, and you build your initial book of business around those niches. And then each year you can go, you know what? I want to start selling Africa. Or I want to start selling Australia. Or I want to add Western Europe. Or I want to add FIT tours, or whatever the things are from year to year that you start to learn more, you'll want to sell more, but you'll have your base kind of mastered, and then you can decide if you want to add to your catalog of services as you grow. So that should take the pressure off. You really can start with what you know, start with what you're passionate about, and kind of build from there. And that will really, really help you. All right, last but not least, I want to just share this with you guys. And this is kind of a personal story, especially for me this year. You know, I've always been super grateful from the moment I took my own travel agency, home-based, started to grow it. I worked in travel corporate for many, many years, you know, did all the things through education and travel industry and all the things. But when I brought my own agency, kind of home-based, and we became full-time entrepreneurs, and I started to grow my business just like you're probably about to do, the thing I was always most grateful for is I could be there for my kids. I was there for every drop off, every pickup, either me or my husband work, because we both work in the travel business full time. Never missed a ballet recital, never missed a soccer match, never missed a football game. And that was what I was most grateful for. This year, I went through a different experience, and I'm equally as grateful for it. But this fall, I spent the entire fall up in Michigan because my mom became really, really ill, and she passed away at the end of October. And it was a very, very difficult season, but like the silver lining in this season for me has really been, I was able to take my business with me. And it was a weird honor and a weird privilege to be there for those months where she was ill, and I got to spend all the extra time with her. And that is special. And that's something I'm so grateful for, because if I worked in a corporate job and I was like, hey, can I go to Michigan for like 3 months? They would have been like, oh my gosh, like, no, that doesn't work. You can't just, hop off to another state. Right. But it was never a question, never came up. My husband was like, avail yourself to your mother, like take as much time as you need. And that was special. So, again, although it was like a weird honor to be there, I was able to be there, and you don't get a do-over on certain things in life. And I think as we have new students come into Wanderlust campus every single day, one of the most beautiful things that I always hear is, I'm here because I want more freedom in my life. I want to show up for my kids' stuff. I don't want to ask permission for vacation anymore. I don't want to keep working and trading days of my life for someone else's company. I want to build something of my own. So if in your heart of hearts, that's why you're doing this, that's why you're pulling on this string of like, I'm thinking about doing this, that's the right reason to get into this industry. So if that sounds like it's in alignment with what your goals are, I encourage you to reach out to our enrollments department. You can go to careersonvacation.com/ready now if you want to chat with enrollments. But also, if you're not sure and you want to do a little more kind of research and vetting, no hard feelings on that either. I'm going to invite you to one of our live open houses. So every month we do a live open house. You can come meet with me and our head of coaching, and we will actually come and answer all your questions. It's very non-salesy, I promise. It's just asking all of your questions. What are you curious about? What are your goals? And we'll tell you a little bit more about how we help you at Wanderlust Campus. And whatever you decide for your journey, my only goal is that you are picking whatever is in most alignment for you so you can grow to whatever level that you want to. Because my purpose in life is to help people follow their bliss to abundance, whether they're working with campus or not. And I truly just want you to pick the path that is right for you. So I'll put all that information down below, and I hope to see you in an open house as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We bring you amazing content every week on helping you grow your travel business, and I don't want you to miss a thing. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.